I'm gonna be big. I'm gonna be big for God. I'm gonna speak out. I'm gonna speak out for love. I'm gonna shine bright until the whole world sees the light. I'm gonna shine bright. I'm gonna speak out. I'm gonna be big for God. I'm gonna live loud, alive with no regrets. I'm gonna go now, 'cause now is all we get. I'm gonna break free, to live in perfect harmony. I'm gonna break free, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna live loud for God. I'm gonna say yes to my good right now. I'm gonna let go of all my fear and doubt. I'm gonna go forth to bring a change about. I'm gonna go forth, I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna say yes to God. I'm gonna break free, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna live loud for God. I'm gonna shine bright, I'm gonna speak out. I'm gonna be big for God. I'm gonna be big for God. Yes. I believe you wrote that song, did you not?
I did.
Beautiful.
Great song.
And so, do we have any? Oh, hi, Virginia. Good to see you. Do we have any newcomers today? I believe we do have some newcomers today. Oh, there goes a hand right there. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. Just let us know where you're from, where you live.
Hi, my name is Jill. We moved here a couple months ago from Dallas, Texas, and so I have been going to Unity of Mesa, but since we just live down the street, I thought I'd better come here instead. So, nice to see you all this morning.
Nice to see you, Jill. Thank you.
Nothing against
And I see a couple.
but this is more
Would you introduce? Well, I know. Okay,
I'm not really a newcomer.
that's true.
I'm a newcomer.
You're a newcomer.
My name's Laren, and this is my partner Dennis, but we used to go to Unity of Mesa, and we decided to come over here and see how great it's going to be.
This is my son, Aaron. He's been here before.
I thought so, that's why. You're old news, no. I think it deserves a...
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah. Anyhow, this is my younger son. My younger son, Aaron,
You can do it.
who lives here in Chandler. Yeah.
And we prayed for you last Sunday here in the service.
Thank you.
He was in the hospital last Sunday,
Put in last Sunday.
and here he is.
Yeah.
Praise God. What a gift to see you this morning, Aaron. Thank you.
Oh, we got somebody else. Somebody else is new.
Oh.
Come on in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we say to our newcomers this morning, our welcoming statement, we love you, we bless you, and we welcome you.
I'm not really new.
It's not really new, Julia.
Oh.
But we'll catch you next week. So let us begin now with our opening prayer by Reverend Julia Norton.
Good morning, everyone. Happy May Day. Beautiful May. We go within to our hearts, to our minds, where God is. We share God's love with everyone, everywhere. We hear the words today and the songs, and we know that God is present everywhere, and that we are here to share that love. we enjoy these beautiful days, even when it rains, because we definitely need that. And we, as our t-shirts say, live generously from our hearts. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for being present with us today. And so it is.
And now our daily word will be delivered by Mike Schneider.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today's daily word, I carry joy in my heart. Many happy experiences and memories may lead me to feel joyful, but I know they are not the source of my joy. One of my divine gifts, joy, is part of my spiritual identity, as close to me as my next breath. Joy wells up and spills over within me when I bring my awareness to my spiritual nature and to my oneness with all good and all of life. It is an attitude I hold in mind and a feeling I hold in my heart. The happiness I feel in life depends on my allowing my inner wellspring of joy to come forth. I nurture my joy by maintaining a regular prayer practice that enhances my awareness of God and by making time for the things that make me happiest. I go into the world grateful for the joy that resides within me, my gift to share generously. In Isaiah 55:12, for you shall go out in joy and be led back in peace.
And now we'll have Cerise come up and do a song to lead us into meditation. Meditation will be delivered by Tom MacLaughlin.
Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your light in me. Pour your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Dance and sing in me. Dance and sing into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Shine your light through me. Shine your light out through my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Today's meditation is entitled Inward Journey. What I'm going to do is facilitate you going into the silence. It'll be a period of time where you will find your inner peace, you will find whatever messages that God intends you to have. But I want to do something a little different right now. I want you to imagine, once we go into the silence, imagine the energy coming in from your right and going out your left. This will be sort of like you are in a circle, and you're letting this energy flow in a clockwise manner from your right to your left. So close your eyes right now and be very comfortable in your chair. And I want you to picture the number 10 in your mind's eye. Picture the number 10. And it fades to number 9. Each time it goes to a different lower number, you are in a deeper state of consciousness. Picture the number 8 and then 7. 7 becomes 6. Picture 5. You are in a deeper state of mind at this point. The number 4 appears in your mind's eye. You start to see the light of the spirit as a purple dot in the center of your consciousness. The number 3 shows up. Number 2. You're in a very deeper state of consciousness, and that goes into number 1. Be receiving whatever you're meant to receive. You will be here a while. Bring your consciousness back to this room, slowly. Reflect upon the energy that you receive. Reflect upon the messages that you receive. Reflect upon whatever you perceive. Especially know from the verse in Matthew that be still and know I am God. So bring your consciousness back to this room, open your eyes, and be fully awake. Godspeed.
Sun Lake's prayer team has been working on putting together a new prayer for our church, and they say this prayer every week on Wednesday mornings, and want us to say it on Sundays together. So, if you will join me. Unity Church of Sun Lakes is a beacon of love and light. We welcome all with open hearts and open arms to express their divine potential. We come together in oneness, creating peace, health, and happiness. In our church, community, and the world, divine order guides our church as it prospers and grows, providing healing, love, hope, and friendship to all. And so it is. Julia?
May I say something?
Yes.
Since we have been praying this every Wednesday, we have at least 3 new people in our church community. So,
Prayer works.
yes.
Prayer works, we know it. And now let's welcome Cerise back up for another beautiful song.
And thank everybody for the prayers for my son last week.
Amen.
I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart could understand. Love and only love will join the trials of man. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see. First thing is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge. You can sing it with us. Between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Oh, don't you think it's time? We're singing this today in honor of the beautiful light that transitioned yesterday, Naomi Joe.
say that when you sing and you pray at the same time, it's amplified and it runs through your body. It's an amazing feeling. Scientists once conducted an experiment to see what effect early environment and circumstances have on a being's concept of itself. So this is a true story, it is not a joke. For the experiment, they used a baby rabbit which was taken away from its mother just after it was born. And it was put in a nest with a hen because hens are known to accept the young of other animals. So the bunny grew up with the hen and learned a lot of chicken habits. It learned to peck at its food. It learned to roost with the chickens every evening. And it even developed a chicken-like hop. So when it grew up in the corner of the hutch, when it grew up, the scientists took it away from the hen and then put it back with the other rabbits. Now, you might think that the rabbit would naturally understand that he was a rabbit and not a chicken. Everyone's nodding their heads no. And immediately that rabbit might start acting like a rabbit again, but no, it doesn't. In fact, he cowered in the corner of the hutch and wouldn't have a thing to do with the other rabbits. He got so upset that he wouldn't eat or drink. So after a while, the scientists thought we better put it back with the chickens because we want him to live. Well, when he got back with the chickens, he perked up right away. He was so happy to be back home. And we, too, are taught at a very, very young age who we are. So here's a question. What if we weren't taught the truth? What if someone taught us all the wrong stuff? Maybe on purpose, or maybe out of ignorance. How would we even know if it was the wrong stuff? We don't know. And how in the world could we ever figure out what was right? So the story of this experiment with the bunny and these questions constitute the opening of a book that we're going to spend the month of May exploring. It's not a new book. It came out several years ago, but one that may have gotten lost in the overflowing avalanche of terrific metaphysical New Thought books that I have in my library, and hopefully maybe some of you will have it in yours. It was written over 10 years ago by Lenedra Carroll, who, in addition to being an author, happens to be she has another claim to fame, which is a daughter who is very famous with her music, and her name is Jewel, which was one of my favorites growing up, while in my young adult years. I knew every one of her songs by heart. The book is entitled The Architecture of All Abundance, Creating a Successful Life in the Material World. Given that title, you might think that this is just another prosperity book. And by the way, didn't we just talk about that a couple months ago? Well, yes, we did. And no, it isn't. After diving into the book's introduction, we quickly realized it is so much more than a prosperity book. It is a book that lays out an architecture, a building plan for living. In fact, let me read to you what appears even before the introductory chapter. Here's the book's dedication. This book, like my life, is dedicated to the understanding of the divine excellence within each of us, that when lived, uplifts our humanity and moves us beyond our current limitations and difficulties, and into the revolution of the soul, and its certain transformation of our individual lives, our planet, and our species. I know a lot of you, and I know that speaks to many of you. I know that the world and the condition of the world and the conditions of our own soul are at the tip of everyone's tongue in this room. So that's what this book is about, and that is what our month will be about. We will be dedicated to calling forth the divine excellence in each of us so that our individual lives, our planet, and our species are transformed. Buckminster Fuller said, "We are all called to be architects of our future, not its victims." This month, using the architecture of all abundance as our roadmap, we will explore ideas behind building a life, a deeply satisfying life, and expressing the truth of who we are. Not what we have been taught, but who we are. And the first place to start on this journey, thank you, Tom, is within. The answer to all of life's questions really reside in here, don't they? The architecture of stillness, which is the title of one of the first chapters in the book, suggests that stillness is the spring that all rivers flow from, and the ocean that all rivers flow back into. Stillness underlies all movement, informs all life. It is the vitality that creates us, surrounds us, and it supports us. The source of stillness is the source of all creation. It is the essence in which we live and breathe and have our being. Just as there are many roads to the divine, there are many routes inwards. There is prayer. There is meditation, nature, solitude, sacred writing, dance, ceremony, music, chanting, and even gardening. The method is not nearly as important as the commitment and the practice. It is the repeated journey into silence that brings the reward of stillness. So this morning I'm going to suggest a specific type of stillness. A type of stillness that has inherent in it the ability to transform situations. A type of stillness that has the power of insight beyond our rational minds. A type of stillness that enables us to know that which we have not known. Sounds pretty good, huh? You might be thinking that this method or this technique must be complicated and mysterious, only able to be done by those who have achieved certain levels of spiritual mastery. But not so. It can be done by anyone, beginning here and starting right now. Our author, Lenedra Carroll, happened on this transformative type of stillness when she was only 9 years old. So here's her story, and I want to share it in its completeness with you because it's a very compelling story. She was in the 3rd grade. She's having a wonderful, wonderful time playing in the snow. She lives in Alaska. And she was making snowballs in various shapes. This was a very sophisticated process. She got a bucket of water and crepe paper. Wetting the crepe paper, she pressed it into snowballs, which left bright swaths of red and green. Patiently, she would wet and pat, wet and pat, wet and pat. Soon her mitten became soggy. I grew up in Wisconsin, so I'm right along here. So she did what any third grader would do, and she took off her mittens, and she continued on with her creative effort. Eventually, she had a wonderful red heart, white lace, and a green duck with red bill and feet. She's pretty satisfied with her work, but notices for the first time that her hands are aching. In fact, they're pretty numb, and they look grayish and waxy, and they're very puffy. She intuitively knows that something is wrong. So she again did what any third grader would do. She ran inside to show her mother. Mom took one look at her hands, and she got panicked. And she grabbed her by the arm, and she ran her back outside, not even stopping to get herself a coat. What is going on? Am I dying? Thought Lenedra. Mom thrust her hands into the snow and started scrubbing them with the snow. But this hurt. It really hurt, and Lenedra cried out and pulled them away from her. Soon, she and her mother were engaged in a tug of war with her little hands. Her mother said, "Give me your hands." And Lenedra would say, "No, it hurts." Mom tried to explain to her that she has frostbite, and this is what the doctors say to do. And she must do this if she wants her hands to come back. If not, she could lose her fingers. "No," Lenedra insists, "it doesn't help. The doctors are wrong." Mom is very upset and frustrated, straightens up, puts her hands on her hips and says, "Well then, Miss Smarty Pants, if you know so much, then you figure out what to do." "Okay, I will," Lenedra says. Mom stomps into the house, and Lenedra stomps in after her. As a child, she was not usually so much trouble, but something unusual was going on within her. She sat down on the couch and she gazed at her hands. Her mother's challenge to figure it out ricocheted in her mind. She was consumed with the thought that she could know. Even though she was only 9, she thought, "It's my body. I can figure this out. What's the right thing to do? I know I can figure this out." She peered at her hands, wondering fervently what to do. What's the answer? Then something happened, and she saw what to do. She literally saw her hands in a different way. She saw them as shimmering matter. In them, she saw little round things filled with liquid. She understood that the liquid had become frozen, and the walls of the little blobs were very fragile, and when they got rubbed together hard, they could break each other, and then they could leak. She understood that her hands needed to be warmed very slowly. So she quickly put her hands under her armpits, but they began to sting. Too hot, too fast. Her mother sat quiet for a moment. As she watched her daughter contemplate. She went to her mom and she explained that she saw little brown things in her hands that were filled with liquid, and when they are frozen, the walls become very fragile and they needed to be warmed very gently, very slowly. She explained that she tried placing her hands on her armpits, but that was just too warm. Her mother sat quiet for a moment and then, still rather perturbed at her headstrong daughter, and then said, "Well, there are cells in your hands, I suppose." Suddenly she said, "Let's run some cool water in the sink, put your hands in it, and then we'll warm the water gradually." Nedra knew with an inner knowing that that was the right thing to do. Soon her hands were soft, not puffy, and returned to their normal color. And most importantly, they stopped hurting. They were fine. How many of you have done that? I have. Done that. Mom said that was all amazing, and Dad thought it was very interesting. But the part that was truly incredible was the part that they didn't even talk about. They acted like, oh yeah, that was a good idea you had. But they missed the point. The miracle was that when the 9-year-old needed to know something, she got quiet. She asked, and the answer opened up. Right there for her, right in front of her eyes. In fact, she got a visual. She suddenly knew it. It just bubbled up from somewhere, from someplace, where all the answers come from. We can know anything. It's all right here. We just have to get still and ask. When people call me with a problem, and they're obviously upset about it, I always ask, can we do some work around this? And when they say yes, the first thing that I ask them to do is close their eyes, go inside, drop down into your heart. Connect to that heart and get still. And then we go to the place in their body where they can feel this issue, because the issues are in the tissues. And I always ask what the message is. What's the message? And the truth always comes. Always. The metaphysical meaning of stillness is defined as a mental state of infinite peace, rest, and tranquility, where one's senses are hushed and one abides in God. Be still and know I am. Psalm 46:10. Science of Mind author Ernest Holmes said, "Let us learn to be still and let the truth speak through us. To be still and know that the inner light shines." Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore writes in his book, Jesus Christ Heals, the first step in prayer for health is to get still. Be still and know that I am God. To get still, the body must be relaxed and the mind must be quieted. Center the attention within. There is a quiet place within us all, and by silently saying over and over, peace, be still. Peace, be still. We shall enter that quiet place, and a great stillness will pervade our whole being. Jesus gave us the consciousness of peace. My peace I give you. The mind of peace precedes bodily healing. Cast out your enmity and anger and affirm the peace of Jesus Christ, and your healing will be swift and sure. The Nedra developed a system, a form of contemplation, as a way to tap into this innate knowing, as a way to use this ability for whatever might come up in life. She called it her dream machine, how to come to know. In a moment, we'll have a little experience of it. But here are a couple of important things to know about this process. During it, perhaps this will happen. As you pose your questions or concerns or impending decisions, suddenly, out of the blue, answers may come. Or something may add up. Or you may be pointed in a new direction, just like in Tom's meditation today. You may simply come to know something that you didn't know the moment before. Or you might not. The answers might not appear while in this place, but they may come later, bit by bit, over the next few days. They might pop up in a book that you're reading. I love that when that happens. Or in something someone says. In a billboard you drive by. In something you hear on the TV, or the radio. It's interesting being a minister because things like that show up all the time when you have a topic you're working on all week long. Things just, people speaking, it just comes at you. It's beautiful. The more you practice this method of stillness, the more you will learn that there is nothing you cannot come to know for yourself. Great wisdom and new ideas, comfort and peace, solutions to practical matters and difficult questions. And all of it is known. There is so much to access beyond our individual minds. A vast universe of wisdom that is our birthright. It only requires stillness and commitment and practice. This is the first step in building a life. Accessing the God within, accessing our soul. And when we access the soul, what comes forth is pure knowingness. So begin asking for your soul's voice to speak to you. Learn to hear it and practice translating its wisdom in your life. You will always know your soul's voice by the quality of love and peace. So let's now have a little experience of this. I ask you to close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. And imagine you are floating in a pond. It is a pond as big as the ocean. It is an ocean of being. And you are bathing in it. There is nothing that is not in it. It is the pure source of all that is. It has everything in it that is possible to know or feel or think or see. The whole wide world is in it. It is a safe and beautiful place. Now slowly let yourself sink down in the ocean of being. Breathing underwater is not a problem. So you need not worry about that. Slowly, slowly sinking to the bottom. It is a lovely sandy bottom. There are plants and fish and shells and rocks. And just sit and enjoy it for a time. Remember, it is a very safe place. Then look up and see the surface far above you. It shimmers like a jewel in the sunlight. Begin to watch all things that are floating by on the surface. Your thoughts, pictures of things, even people's faces. Just let it all drift by. What a peaceful place this is. Even if a storm is raging on the surface, something you are questioning or worrying about, or a decision that you have to make, you are deeply peaceful where you are, realizing that it's just a surface storm, and that in this deep place of calm, it can't touch you. Journey deeper into the silence, into the depths of being, in the stillness. Come to know that you are the love. You are the abundance. You are the peace. You are the wholeness. You are the answer that you long for. In this ocean of being, you, at one with Source, the God of all things. So let us simply be in the stillness, here and now. Deepening your breath now. Gently and easily return to the surface of this ocean of being. And return to this room. All is calm. All is well. All is done. And so it is. And in this peaceful space, let us now turn to your neighbors and wish each other a sign of peace. That Jesus gave to others. Peace be with you. And now let's say our affirmation for today. Together. I learn to be still. I let the truth speak to me. To be still and know that the inner light shines through me. And now it is time for our offering. We have a basket on the name table over there that you can leave an offering when you leave church. Some of us donate online, and so we take that action of putting our energy into the flow, into the universe, knowing that it comes back to us tenfold. That which we give, we receive tenfold. And so let's say our offering blessing together. Divine love as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. I am so blessed. Thank you, God. And now let's sing Aaron Drucker's song, I Am So Blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Give thanks for the givers and the receivers. And we now say this prayer together, our offering of gratitude. Together we give thanks for these many blessings of today, and know that they are a symbol of the inexhaustible substance of the universe. I give thanks that 10 times this much is now on its way to me, and may quickly manifest in perfect ways. And now for our announcements. I didn't have a person signed up for our prayer partner. Do I have a volunteer for someone to be prayer partner? Tony, thank you. So if you would like individual personal prayer, Tony will meet you in the back over here. Thank you. And today we're having our book study, Emily Katie's chapter 6 and 7 today. Today is also Matthew's Crossing. Donation, so we have a box over there in the back if you would leave your offerings for Matthew's Crossing. And our potluck is this Saturday at Reverend Maria Blanding's. If you want to come and you don't know how to get there, please let me know and I'll make sure you have the address. Betty, do you have an explorer's report today?
Well, as you can tell, some of us are wearing these shirts. We went to Matthew's Crossing Thursday of last week, and we worked and worked and worked, and we really helped them with a lot of organizing of their donations of food. And it was a gob of fun, and we ended up at the ice cream store. Can you imagine?
No.
It was so much fun that we want to go back and do it again, and you will get a notice about that sometime in the near future. And also be thinking about May is the month that the peaches ripen out at Schnepp's farm. And if you love peach pie and cinnamon rolls and all that sort of thing, we're going for it. These cinnamon rolls, I'm not exaggerating, are the size of your face. And you can get regular cinnamon rolls or you can get peach cinnamon rolls. You don't want to miss this. And then right around the corner is the olive mill, so we usually visit there also. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Now I have a wonderful surprise. We are blessed to have Dennis Hubert with us today, who is studying to be a licensed Unity, right?
Teacher.
Huh?
Yes.
That's true. A licensed Unity teacher. And we have been gifted with the blessing to have Dennis assigned to our church, which means he will teach classes, he will do all sorts of things for us. So Dennis, why don't you come on up and introduce yourselves and know that Dennis is going to be a resource for us. A wonderful resource. And a good friend of mine.
I've never been described as a resource, so I'm glad to be a resource. Yes, so Unity of Mesa got 2 new ministers, and Dennis kind of was redundant. So Dennis was, no big deal. So Dennis was whining to Jeannie about it, and Jeannie's kind of talked me down a little bit, and she said, I happen to need somebody here. And I'm like, awesome. So I wish I could be as excited as Betty about all the good stuff that's going to happen, but it's really hard to be quite that excited for me.
Join our group and you'll catch.
All right, I'm going to catch you excited. So should I tell them about some of the classes I want to do? So we talked about a spiritual economics class. Eric Butter wrote the book, so I'd love to do that. I made up some flyers that are kind of plain, so if you see like a plain piece of paper, okay, that must be Dennis's flyer. So I want to do a spiritual economics class. I'd also like to give you guys the opportunity to do a prayer class with me. It's called The Gathering. It's a 40-day guide to the power of group and personal prayer. And so the book is about that thick, and the first half is material. It took me about a day to read, like 2 afternoons to read, so very, very short read. And then the last half of the book is a guide, a daily guide, so 40 days. And I'd like to culminate it with a one-day silent retreat on the 40th or right around their day. So those are things that I'm interested in doing, and if you guys would be interested in joining me, I'd love to have you. I think it'd be a great opportunity to learn some good stuff. It will also help me on my path to become a licensed Unity teacher. So, should I tell them about that, or where I am on that path?
Sure.
Okay, quickly. So, I needed to take 25 classes through Unity. So it took me about 5 years to take 25 classes. Then we have 12 more classes that are taken a week, like 4 classes a day per week, 3 sessions of those, 3 intensives. Then you do skills demonstrations, so you have to kind of show people that you can do this job. But so I'm done with 2 weeks of the intensive. I've taken all my 25 classes, 2 weeks of intensives, so I have 1 more week of intensives. And then I have to teach a couple classes, get to teach a couple classes. And other things, I have other projects that I'm excited about doing. So thank you for welcoming me.
Very exciting. All right, as you all know, we have sign-ups in the back on the table, the communication table for reading the daily word or doing meditations. And I noticed in the month of May, we do not have a lot of people signed up. Don't make me call you. Actually, I don't mind. I thought it worked out very well. Calling Tom and Mike this week worked out very well. So you do what you want. You do you. And then don't forget, we have our Reiki meetings every week. We have our prayer team with Reverend Julia Norton every week. If you want to get plugged in, you know who to contact. And then our musician for next week is Cerise Patron. And I want to thank Betty for the flowers this morning. Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, we want to thank those who show up early to help set up, Rod and Mark and Julia. Thank you so much. And last but not least, I want to thank Cerise Patron for your gifts of music. And also, if you love Cerise and you want to take her home with you, the only way that you can do that is to visit her at her merchandise table, of which she has brand new merchandise that I'm sure none of you own. So if you're interested, stop by the table. Betty, did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say the Reiki group is not meeting in person for the next 2 weeks because our leader is in Hawaii.
Oh.
So, but we will be meeting online.
We will be meeting Tuesday.
Okay.
We will?
Why didn't you just meet in Hawaii?
Yeah. And I do want to let everyone know, in case you do not know, the church will not be meeting in person in July and August. We will be having online YouTube for those 2 months. We did it last year, and it was a very sparse group. So we decided this year, I'll still be putting messages out online though, and then we'll come back together September 1st. All right,
Jeanne,
yes?
I said it wrong. Kay corrected me. We will be meeting in person.
In Reiki this week, Tuesday at 9:30, we will be meeting in person. Okay, thank you. All right, let's all stand and we'll sing the peace song and we'll close with our prayer for protection.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we.
our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful week.